Okay students, so let's do Thomas method for tridiagonal system. Okay, so Thomas method for tridiagonal system. Okay, so we will be discussing a particular case where we are given 3 cross 3 matrix. So what is that matrix? This matrix is having entry D1, A1, 0, B1, D2, A2, 0, B2 and D3. So suppose we are given this 3 cross 3 matrix. Okay, so some observations are here, that main diagonal, as we know, so this I am denoting with D, and the main diagonal is having entries as D1, D2 and D3, right? And then we have above diagonal and below diagonal also. So above diagonal we represent with A. So above diagonal is going to be A1, A2, A1, A2 and 0. Remember, if you are having this 3 cross 3 matrix, then third entry in above diagonal is always going to be 0. Okay, so then we have below diagonal. So in below diagonal, the first entry is always going to be 0. First entry is always going to be 0, and second one is going to be B1, B2. Okay, so how do I know which one is main diagonal? Main diagonal we already know. So this is going to be the main diagonal, and below main diagonal will consist of B1, B2, and the first entry is going to be 0, and above diagonal is going to be A1, A2, and the last entry is always going to be 0. So this is rule when we are having 3 cross 3 matrix. So this rule we can always follow. Okay, so now let's see what does algorithm of Thomas method say. Of course, so let's write it down also, that B1 and A3 are 0. Okay, so B1 and A3 are going to be 0. So this you can treat B1. In that case we can write this as B2. Okay, so this can be written as B2, and this is already A3. So let's write them B2 and B3. Now this seems fine, so let's not get confused with notation. So we can name them B2 and B3. Okay, so what does the algorithm say? So algorithm for Thomas method, or working rule you can say, working rule or call it algorithm for Thomas method. Okay, step 1. In step 1, we are going to form new elements A1 and R1. New elements A1 and R1. Okay, so A1 and R1 are going to be our new element. So what are going to be A1 and R1? So A1 is going to be A1 upon D1. Okay, now you must be wondering that why are we writing A1 twice here? We are calculating A1 and A1 is already given. This is our new A1 and this A1 is already given here. Okay, so after A1 upon D1, this we will get new A1, and after first step we are going to ignore this A1, and in step 2 or later on this A1 will be used. Okay, similarly we have R1. So R1 is going to be what? R1 upon D1. And listen, we have one more element R, where entry are going to be R1, R2, R3, and this is going to be the right hand side. This will be given as a right hand side of your equations. If we are given system of equations, so right hand side is denoted by R here, not by B. Okay, so if you will be given AX is equal to B type system, then this B is nothing but R. So we already know about this. We will be noticing this during question. We will be doing one question also. Okay, so in step 2, we will calculate for each I is equal to 1, 2 all the way to n minus 1. So we are going to calculate AI. Okay, we are doing this algorithm for in general case. So AI is going to be AI upon DI minus BI AI minus 1. And similarly RI is going to be RI minus BI RI minus 1 upon DI minus BI AI minus 1. In particular, if you want to think, so A2 will be what? A2 upon D2 minus B2 into A1. Okay, and similarly R2 is going to be what? R2 minus BI RI minus 1. So B2 into R1 upon D2 minus B2 A1. Okay, so in particular we can think in that way. So in this step, so if I think in particular, then A2 is going to be A2 I am going to take from the given question from here. Okay, upon D2 also from given, B2 also from given, and this A1 is going to be from the step 1. I told you that now whenever we have to use A1, we will not take from the question, from the given information. We have to use this as an A1. Similarly R1, if we have to use in step 2, R1 will be used this. that we will observe during question, students. So if I want to write in particular R2 also, this is going to be R2 minus B2 R1 upon D2 minus B2 A1. Okay, and now in step 3, for the last equation Rn, Rn is going to be Rn minus Bn Rn minus 1 upon Dn minus Bn An minus 1. Okay, so in last step we will be calculating Rn. So as per our 3 cross 3 matrix, I mean to say this is going to be R3 and this is going to be R2 minus B2 R2, which we have calculated in step 2, upon D3 minus B3 A2. A2 also we have calculated in step 2. And last step says that over unknown xn is going to be Rn. Okay, so this is going to be Rn. In our case we will be given x3 is equal to R3, because I said we are having 3 cross 3 matrix, and that means this type of equations we will be having A1 x1 A2 x2 plus A3 x3 is equal to R1. Similarly A2 x2 plus this is going to be A1 A2 A3 x3 R1. And what notations would we give here? So okay, so keeping our notation in mind, so this is how we could write. So keeping our notations in mind, let's not write down system in general way. So in this way we can write, just wait. So this can be written as D1 x1 plus A1 x2 plus 0 x3 is equal to R1. Okay, B1 x1 plus D2 x2 plus A2 x3 is equal to R2, and the last one will become what? 0 x1 plus B2 x2 plus D3 x3 is equal to R3. So this type of system we will be given. We will see this during our question. Okay, and if you write in the matrix form, this is over 3 cross 3 matrix we had just written above. Anyway, so xn is going to be Rn, and now we have to find out xn minus 1, xn minus 2 all the way to x1. How will we find them? So we will calculate them as that xi is going to be Ri minus Ai xi plus 1. Okay, for all I is equal to n minus 1, n minus 2 all the way to 1. So this is the algorithm. Okay, so this is going to be our algorithm. Let's do one question now. So if you could not have very good understanding during this algorithm, so during our example, the example we are going to do, you will have a better understanding, a good understanding of this algorithm. Sometime it is better to do question first and then algorithm. In my class, in fact, I had done question first and then we discuss about algorithm, but that is not a problem. Our aim is to learn this method. So let's do one question. So we are given solve the following system using Thomas method. Solve the following system by Thomas method. What is the system? This A matrix A 3 cross 3 we are given as 1 2 0 1 3 3 0 3 10. Okay, and R we are given as, this column vector we are given as 10 17 22. This is R given. So in order to use our algorithm working rule, let's write down what is D here. So D, we know that main diagonal entry will give us D. So 1 3 10. What is going to be above diagonal? Above diagonal will be this, and that we represent by A. So A is going to be 2 3, and as we know, last entry is always going to be 0. And what is below diagonal? Below diagonal is going to be this. So we represent this by B, and here first element is always 0. First element is always 0. So 1 3, and R we are already given, so let's write R also. And R we have 10 17 22, and let's mark them also. This is going to be D1 D2 D3 A1 A2 A3 B1 B2 B3 R1 R2 and R3. So keeping them in mind, let's use our algorithm we have discussed. So in that case, in step 1 we will calculate A1 and R1. Step 1, calculate new A1 and new R1. So what is going to be A1? A1 is going to be A1 upon D1, and D1 is given 1, we can see, and A1 is given 2. So this is going to be 2 upon 1, 2. Okay, and similarly, what is going to be R1? R1 is going to be R1 upon D1. So R1 we have 10, we can see from here, 10 upon D1 is 1. So this is also coming out to be 10. By chance A1 and R1, new A1 and R1 are same as old. This is happening in this question only. This is by chance. Okay, so step 2. In step 2, we will calculate A2. So A2 is going to be A2 upon D2 minus B2 A1, and A2 we have to see from the question. So this is A2 is equal to 3, and similarly we can see D2 is also 3 minus B2 which is given 1 into A1 which is 2, right? And this is coming out to be 3. And what about R2? R2 is going to be R2 minus B2 R1 upon D2 minus B2 A1. D2 minus B2 A1. And now R1, this R1 is going to be from step 1, this A1 is also going to be from step 1, and rest entries are going to be from question. And you will see that this is coming out to be 17 minus 1 into 10 upon 3 minus 1 into 2, and this is going to be 7. Okay, now in the last step, the third step, so step 3, which is going to be our last step, we can write this is going to be last step. So we calculate R3 here, and R3 is going to be R3 minus B3 R2 upon D3 minus B3 A2. And you can see the following entry, that R2 and A2 we are going to take from step 2 and rest from the question. So this is going to be 22 minus 3 into 7. Just see, R2 I have put 7 from here, and we can see that earlier R2 is given 17 in question, but we have to use R2 from step 2 now. Similarly, A2 is given 3 here, and in question also by chance A2 is coming out to be 3, no problem, but we are going to use from step 2. So this is going to be 10 minus 3 into 3, and this is coming out to be 1. So x3, we have 3 cross 3, so we have 3 unknowns, x3, x2 and x1. So x3 is going to be equal to R3 equal to 1, so x3 is 1. What about x2? So now x2 is going to be, we have to use formula now. So x2 we can see is going to be R2 minus A2 into x3. What is R2? From step 2 we have to see 7. So 7 minus A2. What is A2? A2 is given in step this we can see in step 2. A2 is also 3. So 7 minus 3 into x3 we have calculated above 1. So this is coming out to be 4. Similarly, x1 is going to be R1 minus A1 into x2, and R1 we can see from step 1 is 10 minus A1 is 2, and x2 we have calculated above 4, so this is coming out to be 2. So done. See, I told you that sometime it is better to do question and then the algorithm. So similarly, I give you one question, you please try this at home. So this question, here you will not have the same entry in the first step as we were getting. So A, matrix A is given as minus 2 1 0 1 minus 2 1 0 1 minus 2. Okay, and this is how he is writing here. He is multiplying R1 R2 R3. So this we can take x1 x2 x3, or let's not even take here, we will discuss this later. So A is given this matrix, and R is given 1 to 3. And you never know, this question can be given in the linear equation form also. So ax equal to r can be given. So in that case, let's multiply this by x. So x I can take of unknown x1, x2, x3. Unknowns are here in x. So this will become a into x is equal to r will become what? Minus 2x1 plus 1 into x2 plus 0 into x3 is equal to r11. Similarly, 1x1 minus 2x2 plus 3x3 is equal to 2r2. Okay, and the third equation can be given as 0x1 plus 1x2 minus 2x3 is equal to 3. And now you have to use algorithm over here. So this is a tri-diagonal system, because this element is not there, you can observe this element is also not there. So please try this example on your own. I hope you have understood. If there is any problem, you can comment on video, so I will solve that. Thank you.